Hello everyone. Today we will discuss regarding the arrays concept in Java. So before going to the chapter, first of all we should know what is the need of array. When we declare a variable, we can store a value. So in the background what will happen, as per the size of the data type, one block will be allocated, name will be given, memory location will be given, and the value will be stored inside that. So through this, our first objective got fulfilled, that I can store a value inside another variable. So when my requirement will increase, I want to store multiple values in that variable. What I will do, I can assign another value to that variable by thinking that this variable can keep both the values. But in original, what will happen? 10 will override the previous value 5. So through this, what happened? My old value got deleted. Okay. So now the problem arises that how I can store multiple values in a single variable. So to overcome this drawback, array concept has been introduced. So here, multiple values of similar type are stored in one variable. So we can store multiple values of the same type in a single variable. Okay, how that we'll see. Now also we can say that collection of similar type of elements which has contiguous memory location is known as your array. Okay, so in array you have to provide that which type of value you want to store and how many values you want to store. Okay, so what you are doing here, now you are giving the request, I want to store 5 values, so I need 5 blocks of memory. Okay, so if my starting blocks address is 1000 and it is of integer type, so every block size will be 4 bytes. So if this the starting address is 1000, then the next block's address will be 1004, next will be 1008, 1012, 1016. Okay, so why this is known as contiguous memory location? Because you take the difference between any two consecutive blocks, you will get the same value as output. So this is known as your contiguous memory allocation. Okay, and array follows your indexed based value storing. What is that index based? So the starting index will be stored as 0, next index will be 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Okay, so in overall, array is nothing but it's a collection of similar type of element depending on the data type, which follows contiguous memory location where the difference between any two consecutive memory location will be same, and it is of index based concept. Okay, so by keeping all these things in mind, let's see the types of arrays in Java. So normally we are dealing with two different kinds of arrays in Java. One is a single dimensional array, another one is a multi-dimensional array. For single dimensional array, it is the total concept is divided into three parts. One is your declaration, second one is your instantiation, and third one is your initialization. During declaration, we can declare the array in three different ways. The data type, then bracket, then the array name we can write, or data type, then space, bracket, array name, or data type, array name, bracket. Okay. So during the time of declaration, this is different from procedure oriented programming language array with respect to this declaration. In procedure oriented, if you will keep this particular part as blank, then we may face error. But in object oriented programming Java, during the time of declaration, only you need to provide, or the compiler need to see what kind of value you want to store. Okay, so that is what the objective of declaration. Here you are specifying what type of value you want to store by using the concept of array. Okay. In instantiation, you are bound to provide the size so that it will be understood that you will access or you will deal with how many different values or how many memory blocks you need. Okay. So during the time of declaration, you can say what, and instantiation how many. Okay. Now we can see, if you are writing 5, then 5 memory blocks will be given to you. Okay, starting from 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Okay, and in initialization you can directly assign the value to a particular index. Clear? Okay, so we'll see one example how all this declaration, instantiation and initialization works through one example. So we'll declare one array here, we'll take the input, and then we'll see how to demonstrate the concept of array. Okay. So class test array, inside that public static void main edges. Okay, integer array. So this is what we have done, declaration. Okay, declaration of array. Okay, so here during the declaration time, no need to provide the size. Okay, arr equal to new integer, suppose I am writing 5. So here what you have done, instantiation you have done or memory allocation you have done. Clear? After that, you are initializing the array. Any random location I am assigning the value. Okay, so out of 5 blocks of memory allocation, what we have done, out of 5 blocks, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Array of 3 I have assigned 30, so it will go to the third index and 30 value will be assigned. Array of 1 equal to 50. Clear? So whatever the blocks I have not initialized any value, it will take the default value, and default value of integer is 0. Clear? And the name of the array is ARR. And the memory location, if the starting block is 1000, next block will be 1004, 1008, 12 and 16. Okay, so the memory allocation depends on the size of the data type. Clear? Now how will know that whether the other blocks are being assigned with 0 or not? This is known as the step of initialization. Okay, so we'll display the values, system dot out dot println values of array are okay. So you have to use for loop here, because you have to print the values repeatedly from index 0 to index less than 5, index plus plus, system dot out dot. Suppose we need to print the values in a single line, So you have to write system.out.print, then index. Suppose I need to put some space in between the values. Clear? So let's understand this. First, you have declared the array, what kind of value you want to store. Next, how many values you want to keep the memory location. So the size you have provided. After that, you are initializing the values randomly. Okay, and then by using for loop, you are displaying the content of the array. So your array index is starting from 0 and it will go maximum up to the fourth index. So that's why you have written index less than 4. Okay. So let's save the file. Then file, open containing folder, cmd, java c. Comparison done successfully. Okay. So the values whatever we have initialized is 50 and 30, and rest of the values are being initialized with 0, the default values. Okay. So this is how you will simply declare one array. You will instantiate or you will allocate memory, you will initialize and you will access the value. Okay. But if you want to initialize the array by the user's choice, clear, what you need to do, let's write, create another file. So test array demo 1. Okay. So here suppose I am writing 50. Okay. Now I don't want to initialize like this. I want to initialize by using the scanner class. Okay. So these two statements I can write combinedly. How? Integer array equal to new int. You can give a larger size. Okay. Integer size. Now here one concept may come that suppose you are buying a particular plot of 5,000 square feet. Clear? But is it necessary the entire 5,000 square feet you will build your home? No. Whenever you will build your home, whatever is your requirement, in that requirement you will build your home, and rest of the field or rest of the space you will keep it vacant or you will utilize it for different purpose. Okay. Similarly, whenever you are declaring integer 50, so 50 blocks of memory will be given to you if memory is available. Okay. So starting from 0, 1, 2 till 49, total 50 blocks will be allocated to if memory is available. Okay, but it is not compulsory that you will use all the 50 blocks. Okay, this depends on your requirement. So you will ask the user during execution time, it will take the input system dot out dot println, enter the size of array. So you are asking the user. Okay, and for that you need the help of scanner class. Okay, and once you are using scanner class, you have to import util package. Clear? Done. And here size equal to sc dot next int. Clear? So input from user. Okay, so you have taken the input for the size, how many actual value you want to operate. Okay, and then you will take the input for that inside the array. So index equal to 0, index less than size, whatever may be the size variable value. On the basis of that I'll take the input. Okay, So array of index equal to sc dot next int. Okay, if you want, you can give the message for every input. Okay, so size variable you have taken input. On the basis of size variable, then you are taking the input repeatedly and you are keeping in one by one index. Okay, then while printing the values, instead of 5 here, you will write down size, because now your array is dependent on size variable. Okay, let's save the file. Just once again check it. So let's dry run this, then we will execute. So what happened? Now you have been allocated 50 blocks of memory. Clear? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly up to 49. Okay. Now you are asking the user what is the size of array actually you want to operate. Suppose I have taken here 6 as the size value. Okay. So that means 0 to 5, this much actually I want to use. Okay. Done. Now index equal to 0. So index is currently pointing to 0. Okay. 0 less than size. What is the value of size? 6. 0 less than 6. True. Enter. You are asking the user enter value. Suppose I am entering 10. Now 10 means this is my 10. Where it will be stored? What is the value of index right now? 0. So array of 0. 10 will be stored at array of 0. Next time index plus plus 1 less than size 6. True. Enter. Suppose I am entering 20. 20 will be stored at array of 1. So 20. So this particular loop will continue 6 number of times, and 6 different values or 6 values I can keep in my array. When my loop will be over, I will be able to store the values in my array. Okay. After that I am printing the values. What is the starting index where the value is present? 0. So index is again starting from 0. It will go maximum up to less than 6 means up to 5. Okay. And it will print all the values one by one. Okay. So let's execute and check. Java C. Done. Compilation. Execute. So enter the size. Suppose 6. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 6 values. Now all the values are being printed. Clear? Okay. Now this is a simple program of one dimensional array. How to declare the array, how to take the input for size. On the basis of size input, how I am printing the values. Clear? So let's write down one more simple example where we'll see another kind of concept of printing the value. Clear? So at the time of declaration, I am assigning the value. Okay, 10, 20. So 5 values I have stored in my array. Okay. So whenever I'll assign the value directly, I don't know what is the size of the array. Okay. So here, instead of 5, suppose I don't know what is the size of the array, I can use one concept, length property. Okay. So demonstration of length property in single dimensional array. Okay. I have declared the array. I have assigned the value. Okay, random values. Then I want to print the values. I don't know how many values I have stored. So I am writing the array name dot length. Okay, by doing this, what will happen? Java C, compilation done. See, all the values are being printed. Okay, now what is happening here? The length property will give you what is the total number of elements present in the array. Okay, so you can use the length property to know how many number of times the iteration needs to be done by using for loop. So index is starting from 0 and it will provide you the total number of elements present in the array, or how many number of blocks the memory are allocated to you. Clear? Okay. Similarly, we can see another approach, particularly in Java, to print the values of array. Okay. J for Java. Let's give a different name. Okay, so randomly I have assigned some values. So this is the concept of for each. Okay, so demonstration of concept for each. Okay, so each individual element will be printed here. How? Integer index colon the array name. Okay, only the index name, nothing more than that. Okay, check here, integer, you are declaring the index variable colon the array name. So every individual value will be pointed by index. Okay, and you are directly writing index here. So let's check whether it's working or not. Okay, you are printing all the values. So basically there are three different approaches how to deal with 1D array. One, the simple program we have seen, okay, that how to declare the size of the array, how to take input into the array, and how to operate. Okay. Second category, we have used the length property, how to access the total number of elements from the array if you don't know what is the size of the array. And finally, you are using the concept of for each. You are declaring the variable here with the array name, and only the variable name will give you or will return you all the elements of the 1D array. Okay, so this will provide you an overall idea of one-dimensional array. Okay, next we will discuss regarding the multi-dimensional array in Java. Okay, so this, like your one-dimensional array, this is also consisting of three different steps, that is your declaration, instantiation, and initialization. So like 1D array, you have to use the data type, then the bracket near the data type, after the data type, to tell the user that what kind of or what is the type of value I want to store in my array. Okay, so you can see the example that the type of value or data type you are mentioning, and you are providing the empty brackets near the data type or near the variable name as per the choice. Okay, during the instantiation you have to provide the total size of rows and column, because multidimensional array mostly can be considered as collection of rows and columns. Okay, so it is just like a in a matrix format. So if you are writing array name equal to new int 5 7, then 5 cross 7 matrix will be generated for the user. Okay, done. Then during the time of initialization, you can also assign that array name index for row number, then one another index is for column number, then equal to value. Okay, like array 1 2 equal to 25. So one number row, two number column, the value will be assigned. Okay, so let's see through the example or through programs so that you can understand. Okay. So class test array multidimensional under that okay. So integer array, so this is what declaration you have done. Okay, directly you can write 2 comma 3 instantiation. Okay, and for initialization you can write 0 comma 2 equal to 20, array of 1 comma 1 equal to 50. Okay, so let's print the values. System dot out dot println values of array are integer I comma j, I equal to 0, I less than, total number of row will be 2, I plus plus. So the outer loop is for the total number of row. For every row, the column will execute repeatedly. So in j value is pointing to or representing the column value. System dot out dot print array of ij, and let's put space in between the values in a single row. Okay, system dot out dot println. Okay, so you have declared the array, you have instantiated, and then initialization you have done. Okay, and after that you are just displaying the values in a matrix format. Clear? Java C compilation done. See, 2 cross 3, whatever the values you have provided, those values are being printed. Others, you can see the default value it has taken. Clear? Okay, so this is the basic example of multidimensional array. Okay, so like 1D array, you can also take the input and you can operate. Like here we have done for one dimensional array, you have taken the input for the size variable, but for multi-dimensional array, you can also take the input for rows and column both, and you can take the input. Okay, so let's see that one. Okay, so all this declaration, initialization, you can write down in a single line. So we are just declaring with a larger size, and then we'll take the input for rows and column. Okay, like we have done here, we are taking the help of scanner class, as you will take the input from the user. So enter the size of array means enter the row size of array. You are taking the input and storing in the row variable. Similarly, we will take the input for column size of array, and whatever the input you will take from the user will assign to the column variable. Okay, then you will take the input, it will start from 0. On the basis of row value, the total number of row will be counted. Okay, for every row, j equal to 0, j less than column, j plus plus, you will take the value. So here it will be I, j, and every individual value you will take input here. Okay, and after that you are printing the values of array. This depends on the row value, and j depends on the column value. Clear? What you have done, just let's once again we will check here. We have declared one array, okay, multi-dimensional array with a larger size, but we don't require all those size. So you are taking the user input from the user, what will be the row size and column size you want to operate. On the basis of that, you are taking the input, okay, and whatever the input you are taking, you are storing in the array, and finally you are displaying the values in an array format. Okay, let's save it. Okay, index is not here. We have used the variable name I. Yes, compilation done. So you are asking for the row number, so 3, and suppose column number I am giving 4. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. 12 values I have taken input, and after that it is being displayed 3 cross 4 matrix. Clear? Okay, so let's modify a bit about the, do some experiments so that you can know some different concept. Okay, so I am writing array name dot length property. Okay, I am just writing array name dot length property. Okay, let's check if I am writing array name dot length, whether it's working or not. Compilation done. So suppose let's take a small value 2 3. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So it is giving a longer size. Array name dot size means it will take the entire whatever you have declared, 20 rows. Okay, I have told you you can use the array name dot length property if the size you have not given. If you have given size, then it will take the entire 20 rows and it will give you the default values. Clear? Okay. Done. All of you understood how to do this by taking the input and you can operate the multidimensional array. So let's see one more thing in Java, that how to use the length property in multidimensional array. What is the use? Okay. So during the time of declaration, we are initializing the array. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So you are assigning the values to the multidimensional array. Clear? So here I am writing array name dot length. Clear? We'll check whether it's working or not. So you have declared the array, you have initialized the value directly 2 cross 3 matrix, and we are just printing here by the array name dot length, and column we know that you are using 3 columns. Clear? Java C, compilation done. See, I am getting the values. Okay. So array, as I have not mentioned the size of the row here, I can write the array name dot length. Okay. So for column, for every row, the column size I can write. So array of I means array of 0, array of 1. So that means for every row I am writing length. Okay. For every row, what is the length? Means the total number of columns. Okay. Check. Compilation done. See, I am getting the exact output. Okay. So that means the multidimensional array is nothing but it's a collection of multiple number of 1D array. Okay. So array name dot length in multidimensional array will give you the total number of rows present in the array. And whenever you are writing array of individual row dot length, means for every row what is the total number of column. Okay. So by using this concept, we can come to a different concept of multidimensional array, that is known as your jagged array. Okay. So what is the meaning of jagged array? Now in jagged array, it's not fixed. Till now, whatever things we have dealt with, we have fixed the total number of columns for every row. Okay. Suppose there are 3 rows are there in my multidimensional array. I want to allocate 2 blocks to my first row, 3 to my second row, and 4 to my third row. Okay. So this concept is known as your jagged array. Clear? So I can assign multiple arrays to a single array. Clear? Okay. So how to do this? You have to see, let's see the demonstration of jagged array. Okay. Okay. So for that, let's select language J for Java. Demonstration of jagged array. So we can see test array jagged equal to new int 3 and one I am keeping blank. Okay, so I am defining that I will have 3 rows, but for every row how many columns are there, that I am not defining here. Clear? So array of 0, new int 2, array of 1, new int 3, array of 2 equal to new int 5. Clear? So here I am taking the input. So to take the input, what I am doing, I am keeping a track. Okay, so let's count equal to 0. One count variable is there. I equal to 0, I less than array name dot length, because the total number of rows. Okay, I plus plus j equal to 0, j less than array of I, j plus plus. What I am doing here, array of I, j equal to count value I am assigning and incrementing, only to know that sequential values are being assigned. Clear? Then I am printing the values. Just printing the values. I have not done anything new. Values of array I am printing. I equal to 0. Array dot length means the total number of rows. Okay. And then for j equal to 0, for every array, what is the length? What is the, for every row, what is the length? Because it's a jagged array and I don't know what is the exact array. So I have to use this particular concept for displaying the values. Okay. Done. So let's save the array. Java C. Compilation done successfully. See the values. First row, I have assigned how many memories? 2. So 2 values are here. Second row, I have assigned 3 blocks of memory. 3 values are being printed. And for third one, I have assigned 5 blocks of columns. So 5 values will be displayed. Okay. So this is actually known as the concept of jagged array. Okay. So in Java, it is not fixed that for every row you have to keep fixed number of columns. You can allocate any number of columns as per your choice, and you can operate that one. So array name dot length will give you the total number of rows in the multidimensional array, and array of row dot length means for every row what is the total number of column you are assigning, that you can operate. Okay. So through this video you can see the concept of multidimensional array and single dimensional array. So we have discussed regarding the simple program, how to access the values of two-dimensional array, and also the concept of jagged array. Okay. So thank you everyone.